The Venecia Foundation. I started back in 1990 because I felt I had been so richly blessed, and by that point I had already, traveled the world and gotten my degree and created my childhood hobby and made it into a career.
Which was?
Which was working on American Top 40 and working with Casey Kasem. I mean, I first heard Casey's voice as we were driving up north from Texas to Illinois in the car. And my dad was changing stations. And I remember hearing a song that he stopped at. And it was a soft song. It wasn't country, but it was a soulful song. And then the announcer comes in and says, for the fourth week in a row, at #1 in the USA, that's the first time ever I saw your face by Roberta Flack. And it wasn't until maybe a year later that I started listening to the show that I realized that there was an American Top 40. And ever since then, since I was 11, I've been keeping track of, what song hit #1, the top 40. I used to write them down.
Every week?
Every week. I still have notebooks. I still have notebooks of the top 40 songs in the USA. And I would keep track of how many top 10s the act has, how many top 40s, how many #1s. I mean, I created all these statistics, and it was funny because I ended up starting, when I moved out here, I started working for them, and I ended up creating my own position of like statistician, and checking the scripts for all the different stats, and seeing what was coming up in terms of if somebody hit the top 40 again or the top 10 or hit #1 again, and what new record would be broken and stuff. And so I started doing all this, and so that was my hobby that I was able to make into a career. And so, but that was in Illinois. I mean that was here in Los Angeles, and before that I had moved to New York and I had worked at Billboard magazine. The two places I wanted to work for in my life were Billboard magazine and American Top 40, and I'm proud to say that I was able to do both of them. But that took me away from Texas, and that took me away from my hometown, which is a small community. And I felt that there was I was a product of the brain drain syndrome, where I end up getting educated, I go to college, and then I end up moving somewhere else to build my life. And so I felt I wasn't giving back to my community, because they ended up helping me and supporting me and raising funds to join up with people or to do this or that. And so I wanted to give something back. And so that's when I created the Venecia Foundation. I figured that if I waited till I had $1 million, I'd still be waiting. But if I waited to have all the variables together, I would probably wait for a very long time. And so there was no time as the present. So I started awarding 3 scholarships a year to graduating seniors from my high school to encourage and help motivate them to go to college, because and these were migrant students. And because being the product of a migrant family, I knew that their parents probably didn't graduate from high school, much less go to college. So they may have been the first ones to go to college. And I knew how difficult that was, if you're not focused and disciplined and work hard and have some kind of support system. It's very difficult. So I wanted to not only give a monetary scholarship, but I also invested in them in terms of sending care packages or sending letters of encouragement and support through the difficult times. Because being away from family, being away from a small community and going to a large university and being with people from all different walks of life, and it can be quite daunting. So I wanted to provide that service to them. So I started in 1970. There were 3 a year, and so I ended up helping out. I did it for 10 years. About 21 students, and about 17 of them graduated from college. And I'm still in touch with some of them, and I still find I get calls out of the blue. Some people I've lost touch base with, but every now and then I'll get a call and on my voicemail, and saying, "Hi, this is Brenda Magana, you know, it's like, you know, I'm one of your students, and I just wanted to tell you that you know, you've made such a big influence in my life, and you know, I'm doing this and this now, I'm teaching or whatever and stuff." And you know, when I do speak to them, they still have this sense of admiration and gratitude and gratefulness that I was able to help them, you know, in some small way. Although the way they say it, there was in a great big way. And just over the holidays, my dad did say that he met this one young guy, you know, who said, "Oh, you're Gonzalo Venecia's father," and stuff. You know, he ended up helping my sister go to college and stuff. And so, you know, so a few people have talked to my dad like that. And so I think in terms of, it makes my dad feel good. And it just, if anything, you know, there's that whole father-son relationship, and you know, the struggles that we all have and stuff, and we're trying to sort of like do good for or have our parents' approval, or you know, and to hear my dad sort of like share that and see somebody unknown, you know, say something good about his son and something that they did, you know, it makes him feel good, and it makes me proud to I think it makes him proud to be his father, and it makes me happy to be his son, so.